Good day, class. Our topic for today is formulating statistical research. At the end of this lesson, you will be able to define mini research, determine and illustrate the different parts of a mini research, and formulate a mini research. Whenever you ask a question such as, why did this happen? What causes it to happen? Or what will happen if this happens? You are expressing one of the processes of what is called research. The term research comes from the old French word recherche, which means to search and search again. It also means to repeat a search for something and suggests that the prior search is not true and complete, in the same sense that there is still space for improvement. So, ibig sabihin, research is still ongoing hanggang hindi na-perfect yung gusto ng author na mangyari. In science, you have learned that the scientific method is the systematic process of any scientific inquiries or investigations that involves formulating hypotheses, observations, conducting experimentations, making analysis, and deriving conclusions or generalizations. When I was in fourth year high school, we created a science thesis. My choice of topic is entitled, "This needle is heavy enough to sink into the water." That is the hypothesis I formulated. Next is the observation. In this stage, you need to write what is the possible outcomes in your experiment. Lulubog ba talaga ang karayom o kaya nitong lumutang sa tubig? After that, you need to perform the experiment to find the fact. After that, you need to write in analysis that the result of your experiment. Then last is the conclusion. You need to explain why does phenomena happen. In my thesis, the answer I get in my experiment is the needle can float on water. It is because water has surface tension. What is a mini research? A mini research is a research paper that presents a scientific strategy to answering a research question and describing data via the systematic and orderly gathering, organization, and analysis of information with the ultimate objectives. So, a mini research used to present a scientific strategy to solve a problem or a research question by gathering data, organizing and analyzing the information to make the research useful in decision making. So, here's the parts of a statistical mini research. A mini research must have the following parts that illustrate the researcher's knowledge and capability in answering the research question. The parts of the mini research provide readers with a comprehensive and itemized details of the study at hand. So, same as in the scientific method, a mini research is meron ding mga parts. So, first is the introduction. So, one is the background of the study. This discusses a brief description of what the study is all about, how the study is derived, and why the researcher is interested in conducting the study. In introduction, you need to discuss of what is the study all about. Tungkol ba saan ang research mo? Ano ba ang maitutulong nito sa tao? Or bakit iyon ang napili mong i-research? You need to make it interesting to the readers. Number 2 is the statement of the problem. This discusses the general question that the study seeks to answer and the questions derived from the general questions, which is lead to the answering and better understanding of the research problem. In order to give a solution, we need to identify first the problem. You need to state the problem, the questions that needed to be answered in your research. Kailangan kasi natin maintindihan kung ano yung problema to give a better solution. Number 3 is significance of the study. This discusses the consequences and implications of the study. It focuses on describing the potential benefits of the study to a group of individuals or the community. You also need to state in the introduction the advantage and disadvantage of your research. describe the possible benefits of the study to our disease. The second part of the mini research is the methodology. The methodology of the study presents the design and methods implemented in the research. It includes a brief discussion of the participants or respondents, data gathering tool, data collection, and statistical treatment used in the conduct of the study. The research design serves as the backbone of the study, where research techniques and method are laid out. In methodology, you need to state what method did you use in your research. Ano bang paraan ang ginamit mo para magawa mo ang research mo. Dito na rin nakalagay yung conversation of your subject. What tools did you use to collect a data? What data did you get in your participants or subjects? And the statistical treatment used. The research design is essential in research because it is the flow of your study. In a mini research, a descriptive research design is mostly used. It is best for conducting a mini research, for it entails gathering information to answer questions about the state or condition of the study's topic. In a descriptive, the data are generally gathered through a questionnaire, survey, interview, or a time observation. So, descriptive research is the gathering information through questionnaire, survey, interview, or a time observation. Descriptive research is very useful today because of the upcoming election. They use it to know which candidate have a potential to win the election. So we have three types of descriptive design in a mini research. First is observational method. Observational method is the most efficient and effective way in conducting a mini research since it provides both quantitative and qualitative information about the problem or case being studied. When we say observational, it means that we conduct a research by observing or in actual. Quantitative observation method is the information that collected in the form of quantifiable and measurable data. The data gathered in a quantitative can be values such as age, measurements of shapes, scales, capacity, etc. Quantitative means quantity, how many or how much. It is measurable. When we say measurable, we use a tools to measure. Quantitative can be values such as age, measurements of shapes, scales, capacity, etc. So, on the other hand, the qualitative focuses on observable data, which cannot be quantified but can be described using frequency and percentage. Qualitative can be nominal data such as names, brands, characteristics, behavior, and gender. Qualitative means quality or how great such things. It cannot be quantified but can describe using frequency and percentage. It can use in names. What is the most cool names? What brands of shoes is the best? Who is the most generous in your room, etc. That's why when we experience a good friend, we say that's the quality of true friend. Second is the case study method. Case study method is a descriptive research design that deals with an individual or a group of individuals sharing a common characteristic distinct to an individual or a group of individuals. It is an extensive, in-depth, and systematic approach to understanding a complex phenomenon that is manifested by a person, a group of persons, or a certain community. So, case study is a piece of information that students may be asked to publish on behalf of a company or organizations. It outlines the success story of the organization, how they succeed in their organization. Third is the survey research method. This is the most commonly used descriptive research design in the mini research. In this method, data are gathered through the use of questionnaires, polls, or surveys. It does not require the researcher to collect data personally. It can be done through online media platforms such as Google Forms or Facebook polls. So, why survey research method is commonly used? Because it didn't require to have a personal interview to make a survey. You can make it through social media by using a polls or a questionnaires. It is commonly used mostly in a political.
Components of the research method. First, data gathering instrument. It explains the different sections of the instrument and how the section can be used to answer the general problem of the study. Instrument used to collect, measure, and analyze data related to your research interests. It is a critical and crucial in the research process. The instrument you choose to collect the data will depend on the research method that you will be using. For example, a quantitative, you should be aligned to quantitative research. Second is data collection. The researcher needs to discuss how the data will be collected, whether it will be through observation method, interview method, survey method, registration method, document analysis method, or experiment method. So data collections refers to the procedure of collecting, measuring, and analyzing accurate insights for research using a standard validated techniques. Researchers can evaluate their hypothesis on the basis of collected data. In most cases, data collection is the primary and most important step for research, irrespective of the field research. The approach of data collection varies depending different fields of study, depending on the required information. Third is statistical treatment. The researcher presents the appropriate statistical tools and how this measurement will be utilized in the study. In a mini research, most often you use percentage, mean, weighted, or percentile. It explains all the relevant formulas for the analysis and interpretation of data. So based on the SOP and research objectives. So verbal interpretation for the computed values may be also a summarize and table. So we have a result and discussion. In this part of the mini research, the researcher provides answer to the study-derived questions and general questions. The researcher must elaborate on the result of the study by citing related studies or literary works that either support or contradict the result of the study at hand. The results in discussion must be arranged based on the statement of the problem. The researcher may also include and discuss in the results the implications of the study and the limitation that arise during its conduct.
Recommendation and conclusion. Most often, in a mini research, the researcher cannot reach a conclusion since there is a limited statistical tool used in this kind of study. The recommendations in a mini research may include a program, workshop, system that the researcher perceives to alleviate or resolve the problem. Recommendation and conclusion. This is the interpretation of findings and gathering and conducting of data or result which is given by the researcher. This is based on the research and any other relevant information available, including their own findings in a research. Documentation. The documentation includes a section labeled reference, which provides the full publication information for all the source you use in your paper. Commonly, it is suggested to use the American Psychological Association format in citing or documenting your research. Plagiarism is an act of copying or incorporating the intellectual works of others into one's own work without citing or acknowledging the authors of the works. Documentation. This is a making a reference in a APA format in citing or documenting your research to avoid plagiarism and to acknowledge the work of other researchers. Writing the title of a mini research. An effective way of writing title for a mini research is to start only with a working title that will help the researcher anchor the focus of the study and then formulate the final title of the study after its completion so that the final title accurately captures what has been done in the research. In writing mini research title, we all must consider the following. The title must be factual, it not must be broad or narrow, it should be measurable, it should be interesting to the readers and should reflect the tone of the writing. The title should also contain important keywords that will make it easier to be located during the keyword search. It is a practice that the length of the title of a research must be between 5 and 15 words.